the International Swimming Governing Body, which is as it sounds, it's the organization that governs the rules of swimming competitions all around the world. They announced guidelines on transgender swimmers in women's competition, and they essentially are banning biological males from competing in women's sports. Almost. They're this close to doing it. The president of FINA, which is the International Swimming and Governing Board, his name is Hussein Al-Musallam. This is his statement. He said, "We have to protect the rights of our athletes to compete, but we also have to protect competitive fairness at our events, especially the women's category at FINA competitions." So the new rule that they announced will prohibit any biological male who identifies as transgender or identifies as a quote unquote woman, if that male trans after the age of 12. This is what it specifically says. If male puberty was suppressed beginning at Tanner stage 2, which is a puberty developmental standard or benchmark, or before age 12, whichever is later, and they have since continuously maintained their testosterone levels in serum or plasma below 2.5. And this is quite something. This is great news. This is for the first time in this trans discussion when it comes to not the government, but any person of authority, where they've said, wait a second, there's something wrong here. Recognizing that there is a difference physiologically between someone who is born male and someone who is born female is not bigoted to say. It actually, we have to recognize reality if we want to protect women, especially in sports, obviously. And this new rule that the International Swimming Governing Board voted on, the board members voted in favor of this. Get this, 71.5% of this governing board voted in favor of these new policies. What does that tell us? That tells us that even though the wokesters are maybe the loudest voices sometimes, that the NCAA and certainly the University of Pennsylvania, where Leah Thomas is a swimmer, that the people who are in positions of authority speak loudly and make it seem like everybody is in favor of letting biological males who identify as women compete in women's sport. It's not true. It's not true. Athletes and those governing athletes, the large majority of them recognize the difference between males and females. And by the way, would this new rule prohibit Leah Thomas from competing in the women's competition? Yes, it would. It would indeed, because Leah Thomas did not trans until 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, until halfway through college. So this would prohibit Leah Thomas, who, by the way, recently stated that he wants to compete in the Olympics in the women's competition. So yikes. How unfair would that be? So what the International Governing Board of Swimming is going to do is they're going to create a third category, male, female, and then they're going to create an open category of competition for trans swimmers. I personally think that's stupid. I don't think that trans swimmers are being denied an opportunity to compete. It's not like Leah Thomas, because born Will Thomas, transition, now identify as Leah Thomas. It's not like Thomas is being denied an opportunity to compete. Thomas can compete in the male category. No one's stopping trans swimmers from competing. So the idea that it's somehow discriminatory or that it deprives them opportunity is simply not true. It just doesn't let males compete in the female category. So I think that the International Swimming Governing Board didn't need to create an open category. I do politically understand why they did it, because it's a courageous move to actually say, nope, transgender swimmers can't compete in the women's category. So they're trying to say, hey, we will also create opportunities because we don't want to appear non-inclusive to trans. But what this will actually prove, and it's interesting from a cultural standpoint, is that the transgender lobby or the radical left, who are trans activists, aren't actually looking for a solution that pleases everyone. They're not actually looking for what I would call secret option number 3. Just like in the transgender bathroom debates, they weren't looking for, maybe a single stall, a single bathroom that isn't gender specific, but only allows one person in it. It'll protect everybody's privacy. A lot of schools were willing to do that, but the transgender lobby says, no. Transgender biological males who identify as female, they want to be in group bathrooms with other women. The trans activist lobby is not interested in common sense solutions here. So it'll be interesting from a cultural standpoint to see all the trans activists say, no, an open category is not good enough. These biological males who identify as women are real women. They should be able to compete against women. Keep an eye out for that.